First at 4, new claims in the alleged kidnapping plot surrounding Governor Whitmer. Some of the suspects go to court, and we learn our governor may not have been the only target. Also racing to the rescue, how Oakland County deputies and firefighters work together to save a baby caught in a life and death situation. Hey there, Ben.
Karen, beautiful look and feel as we head into a above normal day, one of our last in the forecast, as it's all about to change later this week. We'll look at the chilly numbers right now. First at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Drew. Breaking news first at 4. New developments in a triple murder investigation in Warren. We're getting our first look at the man arrested and charged in the case. 37-year-old Nicholas Burry is facing arson, murder, and weapons charges. Prosecutors say Burry shot and killed 6-year-old Tyrese Moore and Isis Rimson execution style in a home on October 1st. The boy's father, Toyoko Moore, was found burned to death in a car in Detroit. Burry was taken into custody Friday after police raided his home in West Bloomfield.
The execution of a 6-year-old baby is truly evil, unthinkable, and shows no regard for life. Only monsters or godless creatures would pull the trigger on a 6-year-old baby.
Burry is due back in court later this month. He'll remain in jail without bond. Prosecutors are revealing some new information about an alleged plot to kidnap or kill Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The new information is coming as some of these men start making their appearances in federal court in Grand Rapids. One of them is still being brought to Michigan from Delaware. Today, an FBI agent took the stand, outlining the parameters of a plot that stunned the nation. Among the new reveals, the terror suspects are accused of talking about also kidnapping the governor of Virginia as well. One suspect, Caleb Franks of Waterford, is allegedly on tape saying he was ready to set fire to the governor's vacation home and he would be okay with killing Governor Whitmer. Another local man, Daniel Harris of Lake Orion, is accused of pushing to shoot and kill our governor, possibly posing as a pizza delivery man to shoot her at her home. All the suspects remain in custody. Defender Sean Lay monitoring what's been happening in court.
No cameras allowed in. We are allowed to listen in. What we're hearing today so far, simply breathtaking. Here are the details as we know them right now. On the witness stand, an FBI agent who specializes in terrorism. What we heard, unreal. Members of the group Wolverine Watchmen, they're the ones who alerted the FBI because they were alarmed what this group was talking about. An elaborate plan to kidnap Governor Whitmer by storming the State House and firebombing all MSP vehicles that surround the State House to limit their response. Now at 5 o'clock, we're going to focus in on 3 men from Metro Detroit who are charged in this case. They were not for the kidnapping. The FBI says they allegedly wanted Whitmer dead and had plans for an alleged assassination. Those details absolutely chilling. Also at 5, there is a twist we just learned in this. One of the Metro Detroit men charged, his attorney used to be an FBI agent, and he reveals something about the case that we did not know. We'll see you at 5 o'clock.
All right, thank you, Sean. Another coronavirus vaccine trial is put on hold as Michigan cases are on the rise. Let's take a look at the latest numbers from the state. It is reporting more than 1,200 new cases in the last 24 hours. We're also hearing about 30 additional deaths, including 10 from a vital records review. We have one other note. The state says hospitalizations have increased for the past 3 weeks with a slight jump in critical care and ventilator use. Today, another coronavirus vaccine trial is taking a pause after one of the participants developed an unexplained illness. This time, it is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge is here to explain what we know so far about the incident that triggered the timeout.
In the phase 3 trial, Johnson & Johnson is testing their vaccine in 60,000 people. That's essentially like giving the vaccine to the entire population of Novi. In a group that large, you would expect some people to develop illnesses. The question now is whether that illness is connected to the vaccine or completely unrelated. That's why there's a pause to find out. Johnson & Johnson has yet to reveal what the unexplained illness is, saying they're still collecting information. It also isn't known if the participant received the actual vaccine or the placebo. The patient's condition is now being evaluated by an independent organization. These clinical trials are designed to test the safety and effectiveness of the vaccine. Taking a pause is standard in this situation. The AstraZeneca-Oxford vaccine trial was also paused last month after a volunteer in the UK developed a neurologic complication. That trial has resumed in other countries, but it's still paused in the U.S. as the FDA investigates. We'll let you know what those investigations turn up. Now, there's also some good news to report about another vaccine. Pfizer announced it will begin to include younger people in its Stage 3 trial. The company says it has received permission from the FDA to enroll participants as young as age 12. That is an important step toward the vaccine ultimately being approved for children as well as adults. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Doc. And Dr. McGeorge will be back tonight at 5. He just heard from the state's chief medical executive about troubled trends and the events that are triggering some new outbreaks. Could we be seeing the start of a second wave? So don't miss our Dr. Frank McGeorge's report tonight at 5. Let's take a second look outside. Enjoy it. We hope you're getting a chance to enjoy that fall sunshine. Let's get over to Ben Bailey for our first forecast.
Hey, Karen, yeah, it's all coming together. Temperatures, the look, the leaves, the sunshine, it all looks fantastic. But we are tracking a few sprinkles on the west side of the state. I think these are going to run into some dry air. In fact, none of the reporting stations are showing drops right now. So maybe a few sprinkles, primarily north of 69. Otherwise, temperatures in the 60s through sunset tonight. Then we're going to the 50s overnight. Coming up, we'll talk about chillier air to come and look at some gorgeous storm pins with the leaves and the sun all coming up in a few minutes. Karen?
It is sure pretty out there. Thanks so much, Ben. Appreciate it. Well, it has been a long day on Capitol Hill for Supreme Court nominee Judge Amy Coney Barrett. She's been facing questions all day, friendlier fire from Republicans and more confrontational questions from Democrats. Let's get to Kimberly Gill. She's in the newsroom for the judge's answers to 2 key questions. Kim.
Yes. Hi, Karen. Good afternoon to you. Democrats have been trying to make the point that Barrett might vote to overturn the Affordable Care Act, but she tells the committee no one has ever talked to her about specific cases, and she can't make a commitment to anyone about how she'd vote in the future.
One reason you asked that question, I think, as a committee, is that you want to know that no nominee has made any pre-commitments. And so just as I didn't make any pre-commitments and was not asked to make any commitments on the executive branch side, I can't make any pre-commitments to this body either. It would be inconsistent with judicial independence.
Another key issue, Democrats want to know if Barrett would recuse herself from any cases that come up involving results from the 2020 election. President Trump has openly said he'd like 9 justices on the court, including his latest appointment to rule on 2020 election disputes. Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont asked Barrett point blank, would she recuse herself?
Senator Leahy, I commit to you to fully and faithfully applying the law of recusal, and part of that law is to consider any appearance questions, and I will apply the factors that other justices have before me in determining whether the circumstances require my recusal or not. But I can't offer a legal conclusion right now about the outcome of the decision I would reach.
So, Karen, the judge started facing questions at 9 this morning. We'll hear more from her and the senators when our coverage continues tonight on the news at 5. Until then, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Sure.
It is a battle for the swing states in the 2020 presidential election, and Michigan is right in the thick of it. Today, President Trump's son, Eric Trump, was in Novi for a Make America Great event. It was held inside the suburban collection show place. Now, our crews did not go inside due to coronavirus concerns with large indoor gatherings. Tomorrow, Vice President Mike Pence will be in Grand Rapids, showing how critical the vote in our state will be. Meantime, Democrat Joe Biden also focusing on the battleground states. He's in southern Florida right now, making 2 stops in Broward County. His campaign is also keeping an eye on Michigan, releasing a statement saying, in part, no matter where Eric Trump goes, he can't escape his father's broken promises and failed leadership. Election is 3 weeks from today. Still ahead, the pandemic slowed things down, but Apple just released its newest iPhones. That happened just a few hours ago. We're going to talk about that in trending stories. And lights flashing as first responders race to save the life of a 10-month-old infant. This video comes from the Oakland County Sheriff's Department, and Paula Tutman has the story.
Karen, this is heart-pounding, and we are going to take you along for the ride. It was only a couple of minutes, but it felt like a lifetime. I got to tell you, you're going to be holding your breath through the whole thing.